The tires of the sleek black sedan crunched over the gravel driveway, coming to a halt before the imposing iron gates of the Westwood estate. Leo smoothed the front of his tailored jacket, his expression a practiced mask of calm curiosity. Inside, his thoughts raced in a frantic, silent loop. This was all wrong. He shouldn't be here. Not in this sprawling, manicured world of old money and new anxieties. He had died, a mundane, forgettable end in a rain-slicked intersection, and then he'd awoken here, inside the body of a 10-year-old boy named Liam. A boy with a trust fund and a future already written in a script only Leo could remember. The heavy oak door of the mansion swung open. Warm light spilled onto the portico. Liam, sweetheart, his new mother, Eleanor, beamed, her hand resting on the shoulder of a boy standing beside her. This is Julian. He's going to be your brother now. Julian. The name landed in Leo's stomach like a stone. In the story he knew, Julian wasn't just a brother. He was the catalyst. The beautiful, brilliant, and ultimately ruinous future antagonist whose obsession with a girl would burn their gilded world to ashes, leaving the family destitute and broken on the cold streets of a city that forgot them. Leo remembered the original Liam's fate. A well-meaning plea to his brother to let the girl go, answered with confinement in a wine cellar, forgotten and afraid. He shuddered. Julian took a step forward. He was tall for 12, with sharp, intelligent eyes the color of a winter sea and a stillness that felt decades older. "Hello, Liam," he said, his voice quiet but clear.
"I'm Julian."
Swallowing hard, Leo, now Liam, reached out and shook the offered hand. The touch was cool. It wasn't shyness that made his own palm clammy, but a deep, chilling dread. The adoption was finalized. He couldn't stop it. The only path left was to change the boy who would one day cause it. To derail the story before it left the station. Eleanor and her husband, Arthur, traveled frequently. In their absence, the cavernous house seemed to grow colder, and Julian retreated into a shell of polite indifference. He was most often found in the sunroom, a book open on his lap, a fortress of silence built around him. Liam would approach, his heart a frantic bird against his ribs. He asked if Julian wanted to play chess, or see the new foals in the stables. The responses, when they came, were dismissive glances or single syllables. The boy's aloofness was a wall of polished ice. One afternoon, Liam padded into the sunroom. Julian was absorbed in a heavy volume, his brow slightly furrowed. Liam summoned his most innocent, childlike tone. "What are you reading, Julian?" For a moment, he thought he'd be ignored again. Then, without looking up, Julian replied, "Moby Dick." A spark of hope. The original story mentioned Julian's love for literature, how he'd first met the heroine, Clara, in a university library. This was a thread Liam could pull. "Is it good?" Liam asked, edging closer. Julian finally glanced at him, a flicker of amusement in his gaze as he took in Liam's small stature. "It's dense. You might find it challenging." Liam had to bite his tongue to stop himself from quoting the opening line. Instead, he let his lower lip wobble, putting on a show of childish disappointment. Just then, the distinct sound of the front door echoed through the hall. In an instant, Julian's posture changed. The ice melted. He closed the book, reached out, and effortlessly lifted Liam onto the plush armchair beside him, tucking him close. "This chapter is particularly exciting," Julian said, his voice suddenly warm and inviting as he reopened the book. "Would you like me to read it to you?" Eleanor's heels clicked on the marble floor as she entered. "Oh, look at you two. Liam, are you making Julian read to you?" Liam scrambled down and ran to her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Julian reads the best stories, Mom. He does all the voices." He felt Julian's gaze on his back, sharp and assessing. Liam looked up with wide eyes. "I wish we had our own library. Then Julian could read to me anytime." He heard the soft intake of breath from the chair. Julian hadn't expected this, not the deflection of his earlier coldness, nor the request made on his behalf. Eleanor's smile was radiant. She'd lost a son, years ago, to a congenital illness. Julian's arrival had been a balm to that old wound. Seeing the boys together seemed to mend something fragile in her heart. A library. What a wonderful idea. Arthur will have the East Wing study converted. But it comes with a condition, young man, she said, tapping Liam's nose. You must promise to study hard with Julian. I promise. The library, when completed, was a dream of dark wood and green lamps, shelves climbing to the ceiling. The day the last ladder was installed, Liam saw a light in Julian's eyes he'd never seen before. A genuine, unguarded spark of joy. Eleanor left them to explore. Julian moved through the stacks like a pilgrim in a sacred city, his fingers brushing leather-bound spines. Liam stayed close, his small hand clinging to Julian's sleeve. This time, Julian didn't shake him off. He selected a first ion of The Great Gatsby and settled into a wingback chair. Liam chose a book of mythology and curled up on the ottoman at his feet. The silence was companionable, filled only with the rustle of pages. After a long while, Julian's voice broke the quiet. Sometimes you don't seem 10 years old. Liam's blood ran cold. He looked up, meeting Julian's thoughtful stare. Thinking fast, he let his eyes fill with tears, his lower lip trembling in earnest now. I had a brother before. Mom and Dad talk about him sometimes. Then you came. I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you to leave. The tears spilled over, hot and real. He was mourning, he realized, for his own lost life, for the fear that clung to him. Julian watched the tears track down Liam's cheeks. His expression was unreadable for a long moment. Then, with a sigh that seemed to carry the weight of his own hidden history, he leaned forward. His thumb, cool and gentle, wiped the tears away. Don't cry. Your mother will think I've been cruel. He paused, looking away, as if the next words were physically difficult. And I don't dislike you. Thank you. For the library. It was a start. A tiny crack in the glacier. Liam's campaign of gentle persuasion became his life's work. He requested Julian read Hemingway aloud. He complained of nightmares, needing to sleep in the older boy's room. He suggested sketching the old oaks in the fading autumn light. Half the requests were met with a soft, firm no. But when Eleanor was present, the refusals never came. One night, tucked under the same quilt, Julian spoke into the darkness, his arm a solid weight across Liam's shoulders. Liam, he murmured, I misjudged you. What do you mean? I thought you'd be spoiled.
Abrat.
But you're clever. Julian shifted, his breath warm against Liam's hair. Why do you try so hard to stay close to me? Liam's mind flashed to the dog-eared romance novels his old self had read. He cringed inwardly but pressed on, his voice a shy whisper. Because I love you the most. I want us to always be together. Julian let out a soft huff of laughter, his finger gently flicking Liam's forehead. Don't be silly. But staying together, that we can do. Years slipped by, smooth as the river behind their estate. Liam entered middle school, a step behind Julian. The Westwoods were wealthy but discreet. The boys attended a prestigious academy without fanfare, their last name just another on the roster. This anonymity, Liam knew from the story, was a vulnerability. The confrontation happened behind the football field bleachers, in a secluded corner shrouded by overgrown pines. Liam arrived, breathless, just as 3 older boys from the varsity team had Julian backed against the chain-link fence. One held a length of aluminum tubing. Julian was on the ground, his face pale with pain, one arm cradled against his ribs. Think you're too good for us, scholarship kid? The leader sneered, hefting the tube. Liam didn't think. He just moved. He threw himself in front of Julian as the tube swung down. The impact was a white-hot explosion of agony in his shoulder, a sickening crunch echoing in his skull. He crumpled, a cry tearing from his throat. Liam! Julian's voice was raw, shattered. Gasping through the pain, Liam looked up at his brother. Couldn't let them hurt you. The attacker laughed, a nasty sound. Look at that. A hero. He raised the tube again. He never got to swing it. Julian moved with a terrifying, silent speed. There was a blur, a wet thud, and the boy was on the ground, screaming through a mouthful of blood. The fury on Julian's face was a primal thing, a glimpse of the ruthless force Liam had worked so hard to suppress. The wail of police sirens cut through the air. Liam's vision tunneled, the pain consuming everything. The last thing he saw was Julian's terrified face rushing toward him. He awoke to the sterile scent of antiseptic and the soft beep of a monitor. Julian was slumped in a chair beside the bed, asleep, sunlight gilding his dark hair and the long lashes that fanned over the delicate skin under his eyes. For a moment, Liam's heart did a strange, complicated flutter. Then Julian's eyes opened, immediately full of frantic relief. Liam, you're awake. The doctor's prognosis was careful. The shoulder would heal, but it would always be weak. Never again competitive sports, never lifting anything heavy. Julian looked devastated. I'm so sorry, he whispered, the words thick. Liam shook his head, reaching for Julian's hand with his good one. You didn't do this. They did. Arthur Westwood's retaliation was swift and merciless. The family endowment was withdrawn from the academy. The planned new science wing was abandoned. The boys were transferred to a different school, and this time their name was a shield, openly acknowledged and respected. During Liam's recovery, Julian became his shadow, feeding him, helping him dress, reading to him. The guilt and gratitude in his eyes had melted the last of his reserves. One evening, as he carefully blew on a spoonful of broth, Liam murmured, "You make even hospital food taste good." A faint, pink blush crept over Julian's cheekbones. "Idiot," he muttered, but his hands were endlessly gentle. High school found them in a sleek apartment near campus, Eleanor stocking the fridge on weekends. Julian, at 17, had grown into his sharp features, all lean muscle and quiet intensity. One evening, he emerged from a shower with just a towel slung low on his hips, water dripping from his hair onto defined abdominal muscles. Liam stared, a sudden, unfamiliar heat flooding his face. Julian noticed, a slow, knowing smile curving his lips as he braced an arm on the sofa behind Liam, leaning in. "See something you like?" Liam fled to the bathroom, his heart hammering a chaotic rhythm against his ribs. Later, when he tried to retreat to his own room, Julian's voice stopped him, laced with a playful hurt. "You used to say we'd always be together. Have you outgrown me?" So Liam stayed, curled against Julian's solid warmth, trying to ignore the new, confusing ache in his chest. The first tremor in their peaceful world was a test paper, mixed in with Julian's advanced placement materials. The name at the top was written in a neat, sloping hand, Clara Evans. The heroine, the catalyst from the original story. The sun that was supposed to melt Julian's icy heart and then burn his world down. A cold knot formed in Liam's stomach. He'd been so focused on changing Julian, he'd almost forgotten she existed. According to the plot, her warmth was to be his salvation, his ruin, and their family's end. But Julian was different now, wasn't he? Curiosity and a gnawing anxiety drove Liam to Julian's classroom after his own classes ended. Peering through the door's narrow window, he saw Julian at his desk, deep in discussion with someone hidden by a stack of textbooks. A girl with a physics textbook under her arm stepped out. "Looking for your brother?" she asked kindly. "He and Clara are probably going over the debate club brief. They're always working on something. Your mom worried he's dating?" She laughed. "Everyone thinks they'd make a perfect couple. Valedictorian and salutatorian. Looks like a magazine spread." Then the stack of books shifted. Clara Evans looked up. She was lovely in an unassuming way, with intelligent eyes and a warm smile directed at Julian. A smile he returned with an ease that sent a sharp, unexpected pang through Liam's chest. He couldn't stay. He ran, the hollow ache inside him swelling into a crushing weight. He loved Julian. The realization, long buried under layers of self-preservation and strategy, now rose up, undeniable and terrifying. He'd changed the story, but he couldn't change the fundamental law of this world. Julian was meant to love Clara. That night, he feigned sleep when Julian came home. But Julian knew him too well. He found Liam buried under the duvet, gently peeling it back. His questions were soft, worried. When he saw the lingering redness around Liam's eyes, his own filled with a desperate concern. "Who hurt you?" he demanded, his voice dangerously low. "No one," Liam whispered, turning his face away. Julian didn't press. He simply gathered Liam into his arms, holding him until the silent tears stopped. "Talk to me when you're ready," he murmured into his hair. Always. Julian's high school graduation was held in a grand auditorium. Liam sat in the front row, a hollow smile plastered on his face as Julian and Clara took the stage as co-hosts. Julian in a tailored tuxedo was breathtaking. Clara in a silver gown was luminous. They looked like a vision of youthful promise. The whispers around him, perfect, meant to be, felt like physical blows. The moment the ceremony ended, Liam slipped away. He found a deserted staircase leading to the roof access and sat on the top step, letting the numbness wash over him. The door burst open. Julian stood there, still in his tuxedo, his breath coming fast. "Why did you run?" "I looked everywhere." Liam couldn't meet his eyes. "You should be with Clara." Celebrating. A beat of silence. Then Julian was there, kneeling before him, a hand lifting Liam's chin. His gaze was searching, intense. "Clara is the debate captain. We have exactly two things in common: academic decathlon and student government. She's also been dating the quarterback since sophomore year." A slow, dawning understanding lit his eyes. "Is that why you've been sad?" "Liam, are you jealous?" The directness shattered Liam's defenses. He looked away, his throat tight. Julian's expression softened, melting into something unbearably tender. "Oh, Liam." His thumb stroked Liam's cheek. "All this time, it was never about her. It was always you." And then Julian kissed him. It was not a question, but an answer. A claim. It tasted of mint and the faint, clean scent of Julian's cologne, and it swept away every remaining fear, every echo of the old story. When they finally broke apart, breathless, Julian rested his forehead against Liam's. "You idiot," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion. "My whole world is you." Later, in the apartment they now shared as college students, after they had told a surprisingly accepting Eleanor and Arthur, Julian held Liam close in the dark. His lips brushed the shell of Liam's ear. "Say it again." "Say what?" "What you used to call me." Liam smiled into the darkness, a free, happy thing. "Make me." Julian's laugh was a low, warm vibration against him. He shifted, his weight settling, his eyes gleaming with love and a promise of forever. "I will."